All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to X Submariner Plays U Boat. This is Dendris, and we're back at port after our adventures with the Enigma machine, um, rescuing the two submariners that were stuck in their sunken submarine. Um, we have all our stores loaded. Uh, just about. We got a couple more things to load up. Our crews had their vacation. Um, fuel's loaded. Everything's ready to go. Just about. Now we're going to decide what we're going to do. Since we did the Enigma machine uh, uh, episode, the patrol, so we're going to go and go ahead and probably do a Tonnage War episode. It's good to keep the tonnage down as much as possible. Keep sinking those merchants as much as possible. Um, it, as far as I understand, it does have an impact on the what do I want to say? The it has an impact on the game. Uh, the how things go with the war. So the more merchants you sink, uh, the more things you do. It impacts the progress of the war. Um, so uh, we want to try to make as big an impact as we can. Uh, and that's our job. All right, so let's go talk to the leading officer for the base, and then get our uh, get our patrol orders, and we'll go from there.
Beim BDU wird viel über Ihre letzte Patrouillenfahrt geredet. Gute Arbeit. Dies sind die heutigen Aufträge vom BDU. Streng geheim.
Okay, they have an espionage uh, objective, but we're just going to do the tennis work. But I like to just check it out too. So yeah, you get a leader, and that's fine. Um, you know what, boy, I think I'd like to do a tonnage episode. Um, I wonder if this is going to help us any though. Improved weather forecast. So it's will allow us to conserve more fuel. Yeah, that probably be good, especially when we have to go during the happy times, when we have to go to the coast of the United States when they get into the war. You have to travel all the way across the Atlantic for some for some objectives, for some patrols, and so it's nice to have that saving the fuel, conserve more fuel. Um, it's medium difficulty. Um, I wonder, do we want to do the Tonnage War? Yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll do the Tonnage War. We'll go ahead and do that, and then I think next episode we'll do the weather station. I don't know if it gets progressively harder to do, but we'll go ahead and do the Tonnage War this time. We'll go through the English Channel, and anticipated number of vessels in the area is very large, so I'm hoping we'll have a lot of chances to sink some merchants. All right, let's go. Alright, just doing a quick inspection of the ship. Everybody seems like they're ready. So, once again, let's get on our way. Station the maneuvering watch and prepare to get underway and all that stuff. Alright.
Kurs setzen. Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen. Legen Sie den Kurs an. Schneller, schneller!
Alright, we've reached our patrol area. We're all set to hunt down the convoys, and pretty uneventful trip through the English Channel. Sounded like there were a few U-boats out there. One or two on the English Channel and some in the North Sea there, sounded like, at least from the radio reports that I got, that were saying that the U-boats spotted some merchants. But go ahead and start our search pattern, east to west, and see if we can catch any merchants. And we eventually, we'll go every once in a while. I'll dive and listen underneath the waters there, see if I can pick up any merchant sound or anything. So, but hopefully we don't have to wait too long before we run into some juicy targets. The weather is a little rough. It's reported to be some high winds in the area. So making a periscope approach is going to be difficult. Really easy to broach the submarine with the high winds, waves. So we'll have to be careful. I always assign a diving officer, which will help keep the submarine from broaching. But it'll be dangerous. But I'm sure we'll do fine. All right, we took a quick dive, see if we could hear any merchants in the area, and our sonar reported that there was a merchant close by, and guess what? As soon as we surfaced, I see some smoke on the horizon there. We're gonna go check it out, and hopefully it'll be a lone merchant, and we can quickly send her down. If not, if it's a warship, then we'll just have to run away. Brave Sir Robin. Okay, we headed in the direction of smoke, and looks like we have a merchant in the distance there. We're gonna go ahead and check it out, and see what we got. If it's a prize rule ship or not, if it's one that we can attack or not. And it looks to be a merchant, British, possibly, right? I think that's British. Can't remember what the Canadian ones look like, but definitely one we can dispatch. So we're going to go ahead and go with gun action, take care of her. Okay, so we've closed in close enough. We're going to man the deck guns and go ahead and sink her. Water's pretty rough. Trying to aim in these rough seas is just... I don't envy the gun crew getting wet. Definitely trying to bait us.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Trying to hit center of mass.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Feuer an Deck!
right.
Feuer an Deck.
So there she goes. We'll go ahead and slow down and cover any crew. Stow the deck gun. All right, survivors are on board. We don't usually. I don't think we. You know, I don't. They don't do. They don't give intelligence survivors here. They just give you extra points. And I gave the rest of the people in the lifeboat some food. That gives you some more points. Higher reputation points, I guess is what you're saying. And then now we're go ahead and going to continue our patrol. And this is it's a good sign. We're running into lone merchants. That's great. We don't have to deal with any escorts. I didn't hear any radio broadcast. At least our radioman didn't report any radio broadcasts. So we're good to go. Okay, we took another dive, listened on the hydrophones, and sonar reported another target in the area. So we headed that way toward the last known position. Actually, you track it. We tracked it on our navigation map. Kind of got a rough idea of their course. And we're going on an intercept course, and we're going to go and lone merchants are probably usually escorts don't travel alone, so it's probably a lone merchant. So we're going to go ahead and check it out, and if it's something we can sink, we'll sink it. Okay, blue and white flags. I want to say that's South American? Argentine. Ah, yes, Argentina. South American, that's what I thought. Argentine flag ship. Check it out here, huh? I don't know if we can board them or not. Let's see. Think about it. Let's see what they do. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and inspect. I think we'll take some of the crew and board the ship. Probably a Spanish-speaking officer, definitely. Let's see here. Hoffman. And we'll go ahead and do Hoffman here. So let's go ahead and send him on board here. So we want Weber. Go ahead and put a helmet on him. I don't have any weapons, so. But Hoffman is okay, sure. It's the leader, and then so I got a radioman, leader, and an engineer. Based on their speaking abilities and their abilities, Priyan is a merchant, so he can look at the documents and see if they actually match.
What do you need, officer?
All right, so we're greeted by the captain. But luckily, Kurt Hoffman speaks fluent in English, so no language barriers. All right. Okay. Let's go ahead. All right, we're going to ask the captain for the shipping documents. So he says that he's directed at the port of Lisbon. Well, guess what? You are pretty far from the port of Lisbon, and your direction. You were not going. Okay, we're going to leave that. We're going to go ahead and search the cargo hold. Okay. I like the look of the ship here. It's pretty neat. Single hull looks like single hull freighter, small freighter. Let's see. They got that looks like fuel oil to me and weapons. That definitely looks to me. That looks like some kind of weapons and oil fuel. So I think I think we caught a blockade runner. Good for the future to know. So probably good to have a merchant and a navigator, um, uh, if possible, along with your translators, interpreters, I should say. Definitely looks like guns to me. That's what you carry weapons in, or well, I don't know about that, but okay. All right, let's meet the captain at his office. I don't trust him. He's not going to Port of Lisbon. He's headed toward Britain. You know, maybe if we were like, you know, in more southern waters, we might question it, but definitely. So we're gonna order the evacuation of a ship. Uh, yeah. So yeah. Okay, we're gonna return to the ship. Okay, where'd she go? There she is.
Kurs auf diese
Right?
Koordinaten setzen.
What is that? Is that her? Somehow we got pretty far ahead, but let's go back and we're going to dispatch her, sink her.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen. Schneller, schneller!
I don't want to waste torpedoes on such an easy target, so we are going to go ahead and while they get ready for the gun, I'm going to take on some survivors. Give them some fruit here. And you know what? I want to check something real quick here. I'm going to go ahead and interact. I want to see what they got. Merchant here. We'll go ahead and send him on. And I just want to see if I just want to check and see what they have because for some reason I thought I'd be able to see what they were carrying, but it didn't show it for some reason, and I want to actually see what they were carrying. Medical supplies. Okay. All right. So we're going to return to the ship. Return to our boat. All right. Let's go ahead and sink her. Good holes in below the water line if I can here. Alright. Yeah, that should be sending her down. Alright, I think that's it. She's gonna go down. There she goes.
Schneller, schneller!
Yeah, definitely not a neutral ship just going to the port of Lisbon. Uh, if you're not familiar with uh, the geography, they're heading directly for Britain. So nowhere near Lisbon, nowhere near Spain. So all right, go ahead and continue our patrol. Um, and maybe we can spot some more ships here. So far, so good. Patrol's been pretty successful so far, at least not too stressful, just coming up to the ships and sinking them. So so far, so good. So I thought I'd, while we're just kind of doing our search pattern and it's fairly quiet, I thought I'd talk a little bit about either maybe some stories that my dad had told me, at least one of the stories that Dad had told me about, um, or my experiences at the boot camp. Um, but so I guess go ahead and just tell the story of my dad on submarine during the Cold War. And so when my dad joined the Navy, um, he did it when he was 17. Um, didn't have his high school diploma. He had a choice, so he got into some trouble as a young man, and the judge at the time gave him a choice: either join the military or go to jail. At least that was my understanding, that the judge had given him this choice. We'll just say he was, it was a stupid thing that my dad had done with some friends, I guess, and he got caught. And so he joined the Navy when he was 17, and he didn't have to have his diploma at that time. Joining the military, you didn't have to have your high school diploma. He did he did later on. He did get his GED, which I was really proud that he did that, and he worked hard to do that. But anyways, so he joined when he was 17, and this was during the height of the Cold War. And his first boat that he served on, first boats that he served on were diesel boats, the old diesel boats. This was the late 50s, early 60s. And so one of the patrols that he remembers going on was off the coast of in the North Pacific, Northwest Pacific, near the Soviet Union, and a lot of boats during the Cold War, not just the United States, but the United Kingdom were doing patrols in dangerous waters, so to speak, near the Soviet Union. Uh, they were tracking Soviet subs, gaining intelligence, uh, uh, taking pictures and signals intelligence and all sorts of things that they could do. And so my dad, he was just a cook on the boat. He joined the Navy as a cook, uh, which he thought was a good deal because it's a marketable skill, right? Lots of places need cooks. But anyways, so they were off the northwest coast, the Soviet Union, I believe, um, uh, or off the coast of Soviet Union. I'm not sure if it was the northwest coast. I don't want to, put either North Pacific but I'm pretty sure he was actually stationed early on on the Pacific. But anyways, I digress. So they're doing their patrol in their diesel boat, and their snorkel malfunctions. And so, if you know what a snorkel is, it allows you to charge your batteries while you're underwater, and obviously kind of lowers your profile, right? It's harder to see a snorkel than a surfaced submarine. But anyways, their snorkel malfunctioned. Something broke with the flapper valve or something, and they were unable to charge for very well. It was hard for them to recharge their batteries while they were submerged, and they want to stay submerged in this area where you had Soviet destroyers and other submarine hunters searching, because Soviets knew that the Americans and the British were out there. They knew they were out there. They might not know where, but they had a pretty good idea that there were some submarines out there. Their snorkel, my dad's boat, their snorkel malfunctioned, flapper valve broke or something like that, or malfunctioned, and the Soviets they were able to find them. They were able to get a location where their boat was, and so it was kind of I guess the best way to describe it is the fox and the hound. My dad's boat could only stay submerged for so long before they had to recharge their batteries, and every time they tried to recharge their batteries, the Soviets would go chase after them, would go and either see the exhaust or something from the diesel boat, but they would converge on that point. So it was kind of this thing where the dad, on the boat, they would be submerged for a while, trying to evade all these hunter killers, and then having to surface to recharge batteries. And so during this time, this was pretty serious. This was a pretty scary time, pretty serious time during the Cold War. uh, Soviets they would drop depth charges, um, and so the sub was that sub was evading possible depth charges that were being tossed over, and I don't know if they were actually trying to sink the submarine or just scare them off. But definitely, you couldn't be sure. You didn't know, right? Um, I think my brother said he recalls Dad saying that they would throw grenades over the side of and throw grenades where they thought the sub was, but I don't know if that was true, but that was what my brother recalls Dad saying. But I do know that the Soviets would drop depth charges in areas where they thought submarines were, and we weren't the only ones being targeted. The United Kingdom, one of the stories that they had about that I read about their Cold War diesel submarines, when they were going out for signals intelligence or taking pictures of submarines, they one of their subs kind of had a similar issue. They didn't have a problem with their snorkel, but they had an issue where the Soviets were throwing depth charges in the areas. So the United Kingdom boat was taking pictures of a Russian Soviet submarine, if you can believe that, from underneath the Soviet submarine, taking pictures. And if you're taking pictures underwater, you're really close to that other sub, because so they're taking pictures of the submarine, the Soviet submarine, from underneath, and the Soviet submarine decides to dive, and well, the UK sub just had to get out of that way really quick. But I thought it was pretty funny that they were taking pictures of the Soviet submarine getting that close. But they were out there doing some more recording and taking photos, and they heard depth charges being dropped, and they weren't sure if they were actually going after them or not, but they heard the depth charges detonating, and they also thought it sounded like torpedoes were being launched. And if you launch a torpedo, if it's armed, if it hits something, it's going to explode. So so the United Kingdom submarine went as deep as it could, and then went to get out of the way of where that hot area. But during that time, a lot of people didn't know what was going on. I mean, they had ideas, but there were no fanfare. But these boats that went out and did their intelligence gathering and pictures, they went back to port, and just kind of one of the officers described it as they didn't fly any Jolly Roger, no celebration of their achievements. He described it like they go in and out of the harbor like a thief in the night, just quiet, and no fanfare, just going back and forth, just doing their job. But I always thought that was must have been a very stressful, interesting time that they lived in. But I imagine things like that still go on in various navies, uh, gathering intelligence, taking pictures. Um, I imagine that the boats get as close as they can. The submarines get as close as they can to take pictures of the harbors and whatever they can. So, I think that would be, if you want to join the submarines and you want some excitement, you might decide to go fast attack, because I'm sure they do, they gather intelligence, they do some really fun things, really interesting things. But that's my story, or stories that I've heard. You guys have any stories to tell? Obviously, we want to, be careful about what stories we tell, right? But just experiences, stories you've heard, from World War II or World War One or Cold War. Feel free to leave a comment. You know, um, if you enjoy these videos, leave a like. Let me know. Let me know what you think. But we're going to go ahead and continue our patrol and see if our luck continues. It's windy, but it's a beautiful day out.